All right, Peggy, thank you so much for joining. So give us the 60-second version. Who are you and how did a cloud architect from Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken, end up training people in the Middle East for Google?
Okay. Yes. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm so excited to join. Hello, everyone. My name is Paggie Chen, and a little bit about my background is that I was working as a data engineer in Taiwan. I am now working in Qatar as a Google Cloud trainer. I have courses. Basically, we have courses about certificate tracks, and we train public sectors and our clients, and also some university students. So I think this is all out of luck, but it's a very fun journey. A little bit about my background is that I used to work as a data engineer and also a trainer at Taiwan. I used to train also the bank accounts clients and also university students. And then we talk about infrastructures and also some technical setups. So those are some background knowledge that you can set up in architectures. And in Qatar, the environment is quite different because they are just fundamental levels. They are start to having Google Cloud environment. They experience working in Azure and they have little experience using Google Cloud. So the maturity level is quite different from APAC. So they start from the scratch and we start from very fundamental part. We have learners from technical backgrounds and also non-technical backgrounds. And I think that's the fun part that we are seeing different maturity level in different markets. And here I was teaching mainly about certificate tracks. So they are gaining some knowledge about Google Cloud and they are starting to use Google Clouds. So that's a little bit about my background.
And so, if I'm not mistaken, you spoke at a Web Summit in Qatar. So that's a massive stage, right? So, what was the experience there?
But no, actually, we are starting to work on Web Summit now.
Yeah.
I didn't have experience on that, but we are starting to work on it now, and we are started planning on this year's Web Summit. So yeah, I haven't really get on the stage, but I will in this year.
Yeah, right. So, is there any particular topic that you will be focusing on the Web Summit?
Of course, of course. I think this year everybody's talking about agents, production agents, building agents, hands-on experience. All is surrounding agentic world and people want to have a platforms to build their production workloads of agents. So I think people are turning their focus on production level AI and also the applications that they want to shift their traditional applications to embed some AI features inside. So it's quite exciting that people are starting to gain more hands-on experience. So this year we are planning to have some hands-on workshops, and that's typically that's just making people feel excited about it. And we are planning a lot on this topic. Yeah.
Okay.
So if
So,
I
in
can
the
also
past,
ask,
go ahead, Mark, please. Yeah.
okay, how we met, I get, was that we were talking about security and agentic AI and security is a hot topic. What was your involvement with that at this time?
So, when we talk about security of AI, we are actually talking security in all the building blocks. So, AI application is starting from infrastructure to platforms to applications and agents itself. So, when we talk about securing AI, we are talking about securing all those building blocks. So, really starts from which platform and what's the infrastructure architecture you are choosing and how to add your security features like access controls, how to avoid data poisonings to secure your data, secure your applications, add some like cloud armors, those WAF on top of your application. And especially for models. So in Google Clouds, we have model armors to do the security layer of the model itself, which is about controlling the input and output from the model. So it will scan through everything that's being through the model. The backbone techniques is very complicated, but for the user's perspective, it's just enabling that service and it will start to work for you. So I think from the user's perspective, it's easy to adding those layers, but it's the problem that what is your software architecture looks like and what are those building blocks and how to secure each building blocks. If you're building on Google Cloud, then we have the solutions for each building blocks.
So you're looking at it as an overall type of how to protect the complete pipeline. As you're building something big, but every layer needs protection. And that's what you're teaching, right?
Yes. From gathering the data to training the models to really use it in your apps and securing your app. Those are the topics when talking about securing AI.
So, many of your sessions are for senior leadership, or you are dealing more with the developers and engineers?
You mean our learners from Qatar? Yes, I think our learners from Qatar, they are mixture roles, but they are mostly from public sectors because the market here is 80% are public sector. So our clients are mostly from public sectors. Just a few that's from university, but those are professors from universities. So I think they are from technical background and also non-technical backgrounds. They are a mixture together. We deliver a lot of courses about generative AI leader course. This is a certificate track, which is a fundamental level. And this is the most popular course in Qatar now. Our learners are mostly they are from non-technical backgrounds, like they are from marketing team or accounting team, and they have little knowledge about how to write codes or how to build softwares. But this is very useful topics because they are building their AI applications now by themselves. I would say those learners are from public sectors, but there are mixture roles. Some of them from technical backgrounds, they come for learning professional level or associate level course, and that focus on hands-on experience. And for those non-technical backgrounds, they love AI topics and they are coming to learn what is AI, what is machine learning, what is a foundation models, those fundamental topics. And they get a lot of those fundamental topics, and then after that, they can start to orchestrate their teams to work on AI topics to build those AI applications.
I was reading some statistics, and it seems like there are like almost 19 billion from cloud in Qatar. They are presuming that there will be 25,000 jobs by 2030, and then you are 2030, and you are on the ground. So does this feel as massive as numbers suggest, or you think that is achievable?
I think this number comes for a reason, but I don't know that is that much. I'm quite surprised about the number. But yes, I come for the reason about 2030's target because Qatar is having their mission in 2030 and they want to do digital transformation, and they're actually doing a very fast pace. And we also feel that there are increasing number that's learning Google Cloud. They used to have a bunch of expertise in using Azure, but they are now having multi-cloud strategies and also from migrating to on-premise to cloud, and they choose Google Cloud for data cloud reasons. So we see a lot of clients choosing Google Cloud for hosting their data applications and using machine learning features in Vertex AI. So they are mostly building a data cloud instead of some other APIs or infrastructure cloud. So I think that's why Google Cloud stand out than other cloud providers, because we are having the full stack of AI and data and the access control of all the stuff. So yeah, um, I think that I think the number is truly increasing, and the number of students we met each day is quite a lot. And for the public courses, we have master class and also certificate checks for clients. For those master class, those are open to public. So we have experience like 150 to 200 learners a day in the same track. So I think that's quite a lot.
It's a quite a number. I was surprised when
Yeah.
I originally saw that number. So generally
Yeah.
speaking, if you have any experience working with the other country, I would want to know how does Qatar's approach to digital transformation compare to other countries? If you can provide throw some lights on that in case if you know.
Well, I would say I have little experience about how Qatar's public sectors or organizations are really running, but I do know a little bit about their structure. They starting from top-down approach. So it's all starting from the governments and the public sectors. They want to do the digital transformation and they ask these companies to come in. These companies, including mostly public sectors and also some universities and some big companies in Qatar. And they follow the instructions because they are following the rules. But the government is paying for the money. So the government is really the one who is paying the bill for Google Cloud. And organizations are changing their process and workflows. So that's the real topic about what's the pace that organizations are really transforming their structure. So there's a collaboration shift and transformation shift in that place. Yes, but it's very different from other countries. Like when I was working in APAC in Taiwan, and also I have little experience in Hong Kong. We have clients that's from banking accounts. That's also pretty large, but the transformation is because that's starting from that's not from public sectors. Those are banks, and they have strict rules. They have compliance issues, so they will move a little bit slower, and they will become they will be stricter because they follow a stricter rules. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
amazing. I would expect that the government initiatives would be even more slow because that's the nature of the government. You're saying just otherwise, right?
Yes, actually, it's working otherwise because it's a top down approach. Once it's a top down approach, they have the same topic and they have no other reasons not to go there. They have to change because government is shifting. The government is saying that you have to change. There's no topics there. They have to do it and they have the money to do it. So it's just about how to do it. The goal is clear and they just have to learn how to do it and we teach them how to do it. So
That's why
they
you
have
come
some,
in.
yes, so that's why they are having some internal goals and our learners will come to learn and take the attendance badge and they have to hand over those attendance badge to their internal teams to say, I did this. So yes,
Yes.
the goal is clear.
That brings to my next questions, right? So you are, Peggy, you are training people every day. Are they
Yes.
scared about AI taking their jobs, or they're excited about the new opportunities?
Well, I think this is a very good topic. I also asked these questions to our learners. I think they are, instead of asking about scared or not, they just accept the truth. They are saying, yes, we are going to be replaced. And what's next? So our question is, what's next? So I always ask them, what do you think is the question about what's not replacing us? And the answer is clear. The answer is really clear. I have so many GenAI courses, and the answer is always the remaining three topics. One is creativity. Second is relationship buildings. Third is strategic thinkings and critical problem solvings. So those three topics, like how you create a storyline. You can ask AI to create you a great image of fancy videos or great lyrics, but it's the human's jobs to really form those story and have those ideas in mind. And what's the story you want to tell? So that's one thing, creativity. Second is relationship buildings. So just last week, we have this Gemini course and I asked the same question. And people are saying, yes, what's remaining for human beings is about the interrelationship skills, the real events that's happening in person, not only just virtually, but the in-person relationship bondings and trust building and how you interact with people. Those energy are still our humans' job. And that's what makes us human beings. And that's what makes things really like fresh and powerful. So I think people are shifting their focus into building relationships. And people love to have online discussions. So I always ask people to you can open your mic and you can type your messages. People love that. I think that is a form of relationships bonding. And third is the strategic thinkings and critical problem solvings. So what's the vision of your company? What is the goal? And what is the priorities of your organizations right now? Those decision making are still humans' job. We can ask AI to help us to form those idea generations, but it's people's responsibility to take into the responsibility and set up those strategies. So for this question, I think we all have the consensus that yes, AI is doing better job than us, but the question is what's next and what's remaining for us? And the answer is quite clear for me.
I think you
Was I,
nailed it. I think that was wonderful insight. And I think that humans are even more precious. I usually tell the people that don't be scared, guys, just the opposite. It's now you are very special. We can see even more special than you were before. So thank you for formulating it.
Thank you so
I
much.
I heard the news. This Meta selectively picking up some of their engineers who otherwise may be laid off, and they're teaching them how to lay down the fiber optics cables into the data center because they are presuming that they may need that kind of jobs to be done by humans at least for some time. So yesterday only I was listening that news. That
Did you
brings me
hear the
to
latest
my
news? They also laid off like 20% of all their people.
yeah
Part of the
they
news.
are taking off. But
Yeah, like
so
10,000.
that brings me next question, like what new job roles are emerging that didn't exist 3 years ago or even last year? Because people will be replaced, but then some new roles will also be emerging. So what do you think, Peggy? What kind of roles you see are emerging?
Well, I personally think that instead of a new role coming, I think there's no new role, but the rules that's been existing will become more advanced. Like project managers or product managers, they will become developers and they will be developing
Mhm.
those agents. So I think that's not a new role coming out, but that's a new that individuals are become more powerful than before. So they will have more availabilities compared to before. New roles, well, I don't think there will be new roles because there are already a lot of roles right now. So I think it's going to be the bar is going to be higher. But there's no the roles are sticking to the previous in the pools, the role pools.
You know, I'm tempted to ask an important question. Maybe it's not the right question. So the best of the best will become even better. That's far as humans go. What about the middle layer? Not so creative, who are not naturally born leaders who lead ahead of AI. The common folks. It's off technical topic. It's not so positive. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that will be very cruel for people who are not
You said
learning
it.
or
Okay, okay.
yeah. I think it will be a really cruel market for those.
So
Thank
as
you.
a trainer, right, if you're dealing with someone, Peggy, in their 50s and they come to you and say that I'm worried AI will make my career completely obsolete.
Mhm.
How typically you deal with those kind of people? What would you tell them?
I will tell them to not panic and just learn it. Just learn it. And job is not everything. Job is not your purpose of life. So instead of being panicked to lose job because of AI, the real question is what do you think job really means in your life and what do you really want to achieve in your life? So that's the pursuit of the meaning of life. So instead of feeling panic, I think this can be a chance to ask themselves these kind of questions and probably give a pause of their lives. AI is not that hard to learn. It's just about how you manage those mentalities, how you see about these questions. Because everyone is starting from scratch. It's just about when do you start it and do you feel panic about it? You can feel it at the same way. You can learn it and you can learn it every day and feel it panic in the same time, just like everybody, just like individual engineers are right now. But you can also saying that I am learning it every day, but I don't feel panic because it is what it is. It will be what it is. So I think mentality healthiness is another thing that we should take into considerations when we are talking about AI because that's a key topic actually.
Based on your experience, right, what is the single biggest skill gap you see when new trainees walk through the door?
Well, I think in Qatar, I think the market is quite steady. And I think people are living a really good life here. So they don't feel that panic of job losing or anything else. But I think they come into with ease and they come outside that they feel exciting because they learn something new from Google Cloud and they want to have some more hands-on experience working on the agentic platforms on Google Cloud. So yes, instead of seeing the panic, I see more excitement. And because I think these people, these learners, they are already, you know, and they coming from public sectors. Some of them we have learners from really big companies and they are the managing directors level. So they don't have those panicness. They just come and they want to learn something new and they want to follow the trends. So yes, I think we are opening that door for those learners from every background. Yes.
So right now, is a traditional computer science degree still the golden ticket, you think, or has the game completely changed?
About background. So I don't think background is that important, but I do think that there are some basic fundamental background that you should have. For example, you should have math backgrounds. You have to know some math and English. I think English writing skills is definitely the key topics here. And some basics about writing codes, like Python codes. You can read those code and you can know when is the time that AI is giving you gibberish or giving you real deal. So you can identify if there's hallucinations there. But for today's world, we don't need that hard background to you to complete 4 years of computer science. I think that's going to be too long. So yes, I think instead of taking 4 years of one single topic, I think today we need a more broader mindset to say people are having broader perspectives. They should know math and English writings and some of the Python codes, just that. And they keep learning. They have the healthy mindset to say it's okay, I'm smart as anybody else in the room. And it's okay that I accept myself. I think that is more important to have those healthy uh
Yeah,
Now,
so I believe like learning how to learn is the single biggest skill that people should learn, is what I am thinking right now.
I would
yes.
agree
And I
completely. That's what I'm telling everybody I meet in my life. I'm telling them that's a life of learning. That's the most thing that counts. But Peggy, I want to ask you, go back a couple questions. You said that job is not everything. And what's the meaning of your life? Now, such questions were out of scope previously. You couldn't ask them. So while learning a cloud, and by the way, what's the meaning of your life? But now it's natural because there's AI and you have to ask yourself. So I'm not asking what's the meaning of your life because that's very hard to answer. But how do you approach that question? Well, here I am, I'm born. Maybe there is a reason why I'm born. How do you approach the whole story?
You mean how do I start this question to our learners in our course? Or yes, I started in the same way that I started just in the last question. So we talk about if AI is going to be replacing us. And we talk about a lot of topics. And actually I did ask my learners, what do you think is your meaning of life? And it's really hard to answer. But I do have there are some learners they really respond me in the class. We are having in-person class. And their answer is to help people and to experience your own life, to make good things to the world and also to experience their life. So I think yeah, I think there are some valuable answers coming outside in those courses. And how do I start that questions? Is the same is the same process. I asked them, what do you think if AI will replace you or not? And second questions, what do you think is the meaning of life? I just started so bold. And people are actually answering me with a lot of ideas. I think that's one of the benefits that I not benefits, but one of the key things I love from Qatar is people are so sincere and they really take it serious about each question. So Yeah, I love that section.
Thank you.
So looking at all this, do you think that any certifications would matter? Because you are dealing with teaching a lot of cloud certifications, right? So do you think that will still matter?
Not at all. In fact, I don't think certificates matters at all. And I also say this to our learners to say that certificate is just a starting point. But the truly matters is that you are starting to learn. Second, you come and you meet these new guys and you meet with us. So you build these relationships. And I think why they're coming here is because they want to onboard Google Cloud and to learn how Google Cloud operates. That's the same deal. That's how YouTube or Gmail, these great products are using in the background. So I think it's a way to learn how this world really works now and what will be the next. This is the starting point. Certificate is really just a side bonus, in my personal view.
And going back to cybersecurity again, do you think is AI helping the defenders more or making the attackers more dangerous? What is your view on that?
This is such a hard topic.
That's a great question.
That's a great question. But I am not very sure from the red team, but I understand that AI has significantly shifted how the blue team, like how the defenders are working. And it significantly changed the time and the efforts that they spent in defending those attacks. So I would say of course, I'm a true believer that the world is becoming better. So I would say yes, it will going to help the defender.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
might have
very
heard of
optimistic. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So you might have you might have heard about this Claude Mythos model, right? So what happened was they run the Claude Mythos before even publishing to entire world. And they found out that there are many 0 days security issues. They found out in like, I don't remember the exact timing, but like 24 hours or less than 24 hours and less than $2,000. And some of those defects, even in the operating systems, were existing in 90s. It went uncaught, and then Mythos found out pretty fast. Now imagining if some attackers get hold of this kind of model, what would happen?
Well, both of them will be more advanced than before, that's for sure. So it's about time. Like who can be the last one who's still living in the world? So I think that
Yeah.
I think there's no the strict answer to say who wins because as the time goes by, everyone will grow. The red team will grow, blue team will grow as well. It's about the impact, like how big the impact is, and does it really harm the people itself? Like, does the attackers really kill a school or something? I think it's about how big the impact is, but they will both grow as the time goes.
And specifically with the quantum computing, Google is
Yeah.
doing great quantum computing. And I heard that with the quantum computing, they're assuming that all the traditional encryption can be broke pretty fast. Earlier, it was an assumption that to break this encryption, even the fastest computer would take millions of years, and that's where people used to use that technology for encryption. But now with quantum, they're assuming that that can be broke. I mean, that quantum computing based any agent can break that encryption pretty fast. So everyone has to rethink and everyone has to come up with a new encryption model or new encryption algorithm that cannot be even broken by quantum computing. So again, you rightly said that we are racing against the time, and it's a matter of time that you will get better tool, whether the attackers or the defenders. So that's what my take is. It's a very interesting time, and every day new things are keep coming. So people have to learn fast. Some of the corporates are still not adopting AI, specifically in some of the countries in Europe and even in USA, and they are just taking nothing is happening and AI is just a bubble. So I personally feel that's a big red flag because that gives the attacker enough of time to get hold of these kind of models and then they can attack fast. So that's what my take is, that people has to be very conscious. Some of the large corporates who are dealing with public data like the financial companies or the healthcare companies who are dealing with PIIs and PHIs, they have to be very aggressive in adopting AI, is what my take.
Yes, I totally agree. I think it is not that this race is not just within the security team, but it's telling that everyone should have security in mind. Security is the top zero priority, and that should be learned by everyone, and people should take into consideration when they start to build it. So that kind of education should be in place. And second is the law. So how do we constrain and how are we going to stop those attackers? And do we have enough laws to strictly rule their behaviors? And yeah, so I think it's a matter of time that they will grow. But how big is the impact and how are these people we are dealing with it? Are we learning? Are we having the laws to restrict that? I think that's the real question.
And since you are, I'm just slightly changing the topic now, but since you have this your training sessions in Qatar, what is the gender breakdown over there? So are you seeing more women entering cloud and AI there, or it is still like most of them are men?
Well, I think it's probably
Good
because
question.
I'm
Yeah.
in I think probably it's because I'm in the Middle East. So I was told that I am very rare here because female
Yes.
engineers are rare and female trainers are more rare, and female Google Cloud trainers is pretty rare. Based on my observation, learners 80% to 95% they are males. So I think female learners they are still pretty rare here. Comparing to where I used to live in Taiwan, we have larger groups of female engineers. But also there are just 40%, not as much as male engineers. Yes.
So what advice would you give to a young woman thinking about entering tech but not sure where she belongs?
Just don't be scared. You are as smart as anyone else in the room, and if people make you feel that you are not strong enough, that you are not as smart as them, they are totally wrong, and you should not believe them because
Wonderful advice.
yes,
Yeah. Because we humans are
yes,
even more important than AI nowadays. So you, woman, is more important than ever.
yes, I think so too. I think I think female engineers should be encouraged to speak out, to have their
Hmm.
own voice. Yes.
That brings us to our last section about this podcast, right? So this is like Mark loves it very much. I love it too much. This is like a rapid fire round. So we just try to confuse you with our question. You can avoid if you don't want to answer, but just take this as a fun. Okay. So first question is like, what is your favorite Google Cloud product?
Of course, BigQuery. This is so easy. BigQuery. Yeah.
So best career advice you have ever received.
Don't be scared. This is taught by my mentor. So my mentor, I met him in Taiwan, and he's from Hong Kong. He's used to be an AWS trainer, and he becomes L8, so level 8, so it's quite high. And he told me that I am just as good as others, and I am actually better than others. But at that time, I have low confidence in anything else. And he told me not to be scared. Just don't be scared and don't frighten yourself with something that's not happening. So you just try it. You just trial and error, and then you can find a better way. It's like reinforcement learning. You are going to reinforcement yourself. So I think, yeah, don't be scared.
What is the worst career advice that you have received?
Never. I think every advice have their own meanings.
Okay, my question is this. I learned a little Chinese and I learned Chinese stories. For example, I learned a saying that a fat man did not become fat with one bite. That's just what's stuck in my mind. What's your favorite Chinese statement?
Wow. You mean in Chinese or in English?
Please in Chinese. That will gladden my heart. But also you have to translate in it.
Okay, let me think about it. I think it's 己所不欲，勿施于人. It means that if you don't want to take it, you shouldn't do the same thing to others. So you should respect others like you are expecting yourself. Yes.
That's
I
nice.
think that's my favorite quote.
Yeah, thank you.
Taiwan food or the Qatar? Which one wins according to you?
Wow, of course, Taiwan food. Of course, Taiwanese food. Well, I'm a Chinese stomach, yes. But Qatar is really nice. I love Qatar. People are so nice. The food is also so nice, and the weather is very nice as well. But I'm a Chinese stomach. Sorry for the food one. I have to pick Taiwan.
So, how any one word that you can describe AI in 2026?
Production agentic platform. Yeah,
Besides,
that's definitely a topic.
So, according to you, what is the most underrated Google Cloud feature?
Well, underrated. Well, I know the answer about overrated, but I don't know about underrated.
okay, tell us on
Underrated. I don't know. I think that they all behaves best and they are selling the best. Yes. I don't know. Underrated? Probably agent engine. The one that's you can deploy your agents on the Vertex AI. So before it's becoming more and more important today because we are having some rebranding and some shipment of the Vertex AI itself. Yeah, so I think before for the cloud next, just these days happening, before it, people are having little understanding about agent engine. That's actually pretty powerful because you can deploy your agents, like your custom agents, on these platforms, and you can use it from your on-premises environments or your own applications.
Thank you very much, Peggy. Thank you.
very useful. Yes.
Thank you so much.